Humanity Matters.
Welcome back here to the Fog of War and Humanity on hmTv. I'm your host, Richard Acritelli. For our second episode, we have Gary Glick right to the left of me. He was getting into some of his family experiences in Brooklyn and in Far Rockaway, being a kid here in the city in Long Island, and then going into the service and training in Fort Gordon, Georgia, and then out in Texas, and then Fort Lee, Virginia, and then finally being shipped over to Germany, which you saw some, sites that just very much hit home.
Yes,
right?
it did. Yes.
Now, how old are you now, Gary?
Oh, boy. 77. 77.
You're 77. You're in Dachau around 20.
Yep.
Right? And that's, it's well over 50 years ago, right? You still vividly recall going there?
I could still see it in my mind. I still, to this day, like I said, spoke about the Arnold Baker oven. And when I walked down that little ramp and saw that synagogue, it was called, and it was shaped like an oven, and the Zion gates, and it'll never leave my mind ever. Do
you think from your time there in the late 60s, early 70s, that the Germans have done enough to make, I'm not saying make peace, but understand what was done over there was fully wrong?
I don't know.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you hear about the Japanese rewriting some of their history books.
Yep.
The Germans, like I had a student in school. She was a foreign exchange student. She came over here. She was from Berlin. She did not like the communists. She said the communists were lazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were watching about the liberation of the camps. And I said to her, listen, you can go up to the library if you want. I was trying not to put her overly in a rough spot.
Right.
Foreign exchange student, she's here. She goes, no, I know what my country did was wrong. I was sent to Dachau and Sachsenhausen as a kid to see those two camps. And, my country was wrong. And I was taken because she was like very bright girl. I think she ended up going to Georgetown. She might be living back over here now. And that impressed me in terms of, she was a kid and she was saying this. Do you think that's universal over there? Or?
I would say yes, because it's funny how in time, whatever it may be, when I was over 60 years old, I told you I joined the Jewish War Veterans, etc. And as I didn't know this, and again, this time 10 years went by, and I realized something. A guy comes down, we go to Hofstra, and we're listening to someone, and I couldn't remember the name, and the guy is telling me he joined the IDF, etc., and he was a German, and what he did is he found out what his father did, and he became Israeli, and he did he actually was.
Was he Jewish?
No, he was not Jewish.
He wasn't.
His father was a Nazi.
Wow.
His father was a Nazi, and I don't remember the name, but I believe Bernie has the person because he did look him up. Because I started realizing
he was a local guy.
It was a guy who actually, like I said, was born in Germany and went to Israel. And
did he move back this way?
I don't know where he moved to.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. But I'll never forget the story that he decided what his father did was wrong, and he had to he had to do the right thing. He joined the service. He became an important person there.
Sure.
And he did a lot for the IDF.
It's a little sense of irony there.
Right, exactly. Yes,
wow.
Yes.
All right, so now you're, what would be the best title your job? You're like a
right now.
In
the service.
In the service.
In the service, it was basically a chaplain's assistant.
Chaplain's assistant.
Right, and like I said, I worked with many Jewish rabbis, different types, from going from Orthodox to conservative, and I had to, whatever they told me to do, I did. I really had a lot of respect for people who would do certain things for their religion. They say they wouldn't do so and so, they don't. And there was another guy who was a colonel, and the captain was religious. He was more Orthodox, but he was more conservative. And out of respect, I wouldn't touch the lights, especially when the rabbi was there.
Sure.
But this other rabbi didn't care, and he just went, flick the lights or whatever he may do. Because I remember when I was working with this other rabbi, very strict, whatever it was supposed to be, he did. And I respected him for what he did there. But what that other rabbi did was wrong.
Okay. Now, when you were over there, were you given like kind of warnings? Hey, you might want to stay near the base. Was there any concerns of any anti-Semitism, any resentment against American soldiers?
Over there where I was lucky. Like, we were a support unit, and I said I had my own apartment, and all of us had our own apartment. We didn't even salute. We didn't even know how to do it. And one day there was a guy, I'll never forget, who was a lieutenant or whatever it was. He said, "Don't you salute me?" I looked at him and I said, "We don't."
Yeah.
No one did it there because it was so casual.
Okay.
And I didn't even know, like I said, even though it was during the time of the Vietnam conflict, we didn't know anything about it.
Do you look back at your time in Germany? Obviously, you've seen a lot of history.
Yes.
A lot of, tragic, right? Horrific things. Do you look back at your time finally in Germany? Or?
If it wasn't for the Army, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'll be honest. I said this, and I'll tell the story, which is true, is, again, I came home in 1972, and when I came home, first thing, this is the truth, the honest truth, carried my duffel bag. I came from Fort Dix, New Jersey, came home, took my duffel bag, came on my mother wouldn't pick me up, etc. I threw my bag on the bed, and I said, "That's it, I'm done." And next thing I know, my mom says to me, quote, "You're going to a wedding on Sunday night." And I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I just got home. Give me a chance to breathe." And next thing I know is I was told I'm going, so I went, got whatever I had to do. And little did I know that I'd meet my wife there.
Wow.
And she was...
were you in uniform or you had a suit?
No, out of uniform.
Yeah.
No, that was it. We were done. And it's funny. She was
where was that? Where was the wedding?
It was in Brooklyn. She was living in Canarsie. And what we did is we grew on each other. And I didn't know this, she was under 18 at the time. I was over 20, 22. Okay. So I ended up meeting her. I was pushed on, and we got together, and to this day we're still married.
Sure.
And like I said, my whole life has been steps or whatever.
Your mother knew best, right?
Well, yeah, she had it. Well, the reason why I went too is because my grandmother, who was there, my grandpa died before I went into service. He died in May. I went in July.
Okay.
And when he died, it was very rough for me because I was very close to him. And he used to take me to synagogues, etc.
Sure.
But my father would grab me and take me away from him. And what it was is I was very close to him, and it was very rough that he died in May, and then I went in July. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I realized something, too, in the service. In back of my mind, I kept seeing him out in the field or whatever. And that, I think, I told someone that, and I said, I think that's what got me through the service.
Sure.
Seeing him. And then someone told me that it's Bichette. What's going to be is going to be. I said, even though I joined the service thinking I was going to get into Vietnam and lose my life, little I know that my life would just change. And I'd come out, meet my wife, and then on, my life would go from that point, from 20, 25, or wherever I was then, to 77, and go back and look and realize I was able to have 2 kids, a house, and everything else, and not even think about
grandchildren
it.
And
grandchildren.
Right?
I have my grandson, Max, and it's like I said, everything was like put in position for me, and I felt it's again, someone said, Bichette, it's just the same thing now. When I retired, I was in air conditioning, and I said, that's it. When I retired, I got involved in the Jewish war veterans.
So you come home, you meet your wife,
Yeah.
right?
And do my thing.
What do you end up doing to earn a living?
Oh, it ended up, it's funny. At the beginning, even though I did nothing, I told you in school I was very bad. The next thing I know is I decided with the GI Bill, I went to air conditioning school and not picking up a tool or whatever. I started going to the school, and the next thing I know, I didn't realize this. I said, I was getting 90 and 95s, et cetera. And I said, before that, I was in school.
Sure.
I got a general diploma. I was ready to just say, chuck it in.
Yeah, but it's something that stuck to you. You gravitated towards
right.
it.
And then what happened was I looked back and blinked my eyes again. I ended up working for this company in the city in air conditioning, and I was this troubleshooter. And next thing I know, I was working with local 638B. And before I knew it, I put in my 25 years there. And then
so you were in that union then?
I was in that union
Wow.
for a long time. And that's what helped me retire.
Sure.
Later on, when I started to working, later on, I was working all these different companies.
Where do you live now?
I live in Belmore.
Oh, Belmore. All right.
Yeah,
So my grandfather was off New Bridge Road and South Jerusalem.
Oh, you're right. He was right around the corner from me. I'm on the.
You could see his house
South
on the
Side.
Parkway. You know?
Yeah, right.
It was South Bismarck over there. I think it was.
And it's like I said, you don't know. Like I said, it's life brings you to all these things, and like I said, I never thought I'd be where I am today, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because to help others.
Sure.
If someone said something to me,
So
mitzvahs.
What drew you to the Jewish war vets? Were you in
If that's
American
the case,
Legion too,
yeah,
or were you
no.
always Jewish war vets?
What happened was, again, when I came out of the service, again, we were not liked as usual. What happened was the JWV didn't want me. This one didn't want me because I was I was not in Vietnam, so I was not a war veteran. So PS.
You were overseas.
I was
right?
overseas.
Yeah.
That's it. So I came home. They didn't want me, so I said, okay, no, thank you. So, but what happened was my mom, my father passed away early, and then what happened was my mom had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend was a World War II guy, and he kept saying to me, Gary, join the Jewish war veterans, join the Jewish war veterans. So I listened to him at 60 and went and joined, and next thing I know, I was hooked. I was drafted.
Sure.
I was drafted, and next thing I know, it's a new world.
What was the big thing that appealed to you?
I would say camaraderie and learning about going back in time to the Holocaust. And then I'm meeting all these people from all walks of life that are veterans and non-veterans, that these veterans, I couldn't believe, were actually Holocaust survivors. And nobody would tell their stories till later on. And
So you had some Holocaust survivors that were also veterans as well.
veterans, a lot of them are,
Wow.
and a lot of them don't even talk about it.
They don't say a word.
They don't say a word. They'll only talk to you and me, being a veteran.
Sure.
And their families or whatever don't even know this. And these guys are just wasted by the wayside. But what I do is I got involved in getting them to you, to have them talk.
Sure.
And this is the best thing. It's just, again, the same thing again.
Did you see a lot of a high concentration of veterans that survived the Holocaust? Then they came here to like the Tri-State area.
Yes.
And then after they got established, they kind of went into the service.
What happened was this is what happened in those days. The Holocaust survivors who came here to this country, some of them were drafted, some of them went into the service. We had a guy, and I tried to get him. I don't know if it ever got him. He was a young 102 when I met him. Then he was 105. And then he died. He was from a concentration camp. He came here when he was 18. And what happened was he went into the service and served for the American Army, of course. And then there was another one, another person that I tried to get through to, even the Jewish war veterans. They don't listen. I met a guy online, and I didn't know this. It's like I said, networking. And next thing I know, I find out, I'm looking at him, and he's telling me he's a Jewish war veteran. And not only that, he was of French resistance.
Wow.
And it blew my mind. I said, I wanted to know. And then now I found out his wife is dying, but I decided through me, I'm going to get someone.
And he's here?
No, he's in Florida.
He's in Florida, wow.
And I'm making sure that I wanted to make sure that someone would go visit him because he did so much. And I didn't realize this. And I got a hold of his daughter and found out that he's done so much for the JWV, and all these other organizations ignore each other. And these guys want to get their story out there, which I'm doing.
You got to be almost mesmerized by these stories because
I am.
None of these stories are the same.
Nope.
And there's so many out there that you don't know about.
Nope. And there are many more. Again,
I'm reading a book on, was it Tibor?
Yep, Tibor.
What's his full name there?
Tibor Rubin.
Rubin.
Yeah,
right? Hungarian Jew.
Hungarian Jew. But here's the kicker. This is another one that I was working on too. But nobody.
Did you ever meet him before?
That I was too young. You know, he died early. Whatever it was, he himself, for argument's sake, should be on a pedestal.
Sure.
But no one does that. No one does that because here he was, a regular guy.
We're going to put him in the museum
about
that
time.
I'm expanding because it's an unbelievable.
Yeah, that story is we tried to get.
It's not
a
only
movie
European,
made.
but it's American as well.
And that we tried getting a movie on him. They didn't do that, and I tried through this. But
you never know.
No, I'd love to.
You never know what these streaming.
Yeah,
because they're doing more history.
Because
they got money to do this stuff. So.
They've been fighting for him to be out there, and he was forgotten. He was forgotten, but not to me or something like that, or just the same thing again. With again, I'm going to go to this one Irving Robert Miller, and hopefully I got him to these history places. He was born in Belmore, and he was born December 7th, 1923.
Wow.
And that too, besides the wow, and nobody wanted to listen to this, is his sister. His sister at the time was in the WWII and teaching our guys how to fly planes. So, and I mean, I could keep going for days like I've done, and to get them out there, and they want to get out there. It's just like, again, this rabbi told me once before, and he told me about his father, but he didn't give me the information. We found him. And I went and I personally got him online, and I personally said, enough. Everybody doesn't want to believe this. I said only 61 missions he flew, only. And then after that, after World War II.
Where was the family from? Were they from Long Beach?
Nope. They were not from Long Beach. They were from the 5 towns.
5 towns, because one of them came out to the museum and gave me...
That's another one.
Where did he fly? He fly over like Yugoslavia and northern Italy? And
he did not. He actually flew. His name is Teldon.
I got to look and see. I'm not sure if it's the same man.
No,
but he flew well over 60 missions.
It's another. It could be another one.
Yeah.
They were living in the 5 towns in Lawrence.
And he still kept Hebrew on his dog tag there.
I don't know,
because some of the Jewish airmen. Had Catholic or Protestant, right? So
there was more, and then I could keep going back, and there's this offhand, I can't remember his last name, Bernie. He was a POW, and he was talking for quite some time till he died. And again, he had Hebrew on his dog tags, like you said, but when they caught him, he ditched them, and they tried to find it. He tried to find it afterwards, but he never found it.
Let me ask you this. You got Band of Brothers, The Pacific, and then I think it's called Masters and Commanders of the Sky, right?
Yep.
Did you watch that?
Of course I did.
Did you see, who was the Jewish
I forgot.
Mage Rosenfeld?
Rosenberg, I think.
Rosenberg, when he got shot down?
Yep, he was in a concentration camp.
He was in a concentration camp. Do you know what camp that was? Was that Auschwitz?
No, I don't remember which one. But this is another thing that gets me angry.
Because he stumbled onto it.
Yep. And it's just accidental. And here's something else that gets me, is I told you the same story, and I tell the story over and over again, it agitates me that his medals are in Comac in the JCC on the second floor, hidden.
Wow. They're not portrayed.
They're not portrayed
presented.
out in the open. And there's a big thing for the JWV there to do this.
Wow.
And like I said, there's many of
Should probably talk to those guys, right? So
I'll talk to the wall better sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go. Let's get back to. I can't believe it was written by Cohen. Was his last name? The author.
Oh,
Tibor.
Tibor Cohen.
Tibor Cohen, right?
Tibor Rubin. Tibor Rubin. Yes.
He ends up going to Mauthausen. They have no idea where they are.
Yeah.
He says the big thing was that it was just such a large place.
Yep.
Right? His parents gave him to Jews that were trying to get into Italy and then
Right.
into Switzerland, and they just about made it, and they got taken by German border guards.
Right.
And then they got sent to Mauthausen. And the story is like unbelievable that he got saved by American nurses.
Yeah.
And in the back of his mind, he always wanted to come to America and like repay.
Yeah, it did.
He thought that was his debt. Like,
Yeah,
I'm going to
and
go
he
to
paid.
America. And he paid.
And he paid, and they forgot him.
Yeah, for a long, long time.
That's the sad part. 50 years plus at 83.
And the thing was, it's crazy because he's got government-sponsored anti-Semitism known as the Holocaust against him.
Yeah.
He survives that. He comes here. He works for a little bit.
Right.
Goes in the army during the Korean War.
And does
And
the
then
job.
he does all these unbelievable things.
Yep.
And then they finally say, you got to start writing things up on him for medals.
Yeah.
But they either, what was the deal? One of the officers died.
Yep. And
Another one was very anti-Semitic.
yep. And they all were, and that's what happened.
And then he got taken prisoner for 2.5 years.
yeah. Right. And he helped.
And he could have went back to Hungary, and he said,
Right.
absolutely not.
No.
You know?
And he helped the people there.
Yeah.
He stole the food. He found a way of doing it. It's amazing what the story is, and what gets me is how they could forget a person like him,
Sure.
and not put him like again on a pedestal.
We're going to have his Medal of Honor citation,
Oh wow, great!
and we're going to have the wording.
When this happens and does happen, I will get the top brass of the JWV down here.
Sure.
And I'll make sure they're here because this is something they've been fighting for all these years, and hopefully they'll listen, and they better listen because something like this.
Because as a history teacher, professor, writer, sitting here, right?
Yep.
Speaking with you, that story is unbelievable. You know who gave me that book was Mel Cohen.
Mel Cohen, yeah.
And Mel Cohen, just like you, great guy,
Right.
no nonsense,
The
just
two of
wants
us.
to do.
Right. The two of us. I
He's
know
like
Mel.
the Eastern wing, and you're the Western wing in
Right.
terms of Nassau County,
Yeah.
right?
He and I we joke about this, the Mavericks. We get in all the trouble with the JWV.
Sometimes you got to get in a little bit of trouble,
We
right?
don't care.
So,
we
yeah.
don't care because, again, we know what these other guys went through. The two of us, I think of the two the same because he was a lucky one too. He was just a MP. And
He was in
didn't go
Taiwan,
overseas.
yeah, but his brother
His brother got killed.
Gold Star family, right?
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
And then Richie Kitson,
yeah.
his brother, and they're both from Levittown,
Right, and they
in this huge area,
Right.
And
it's a small world, like you say.
They call them what, frickin' frack, right?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. The two of them, even though when Mel goes crazy, I just take it for what it comes from him, but I understand him.
You know, you look at the Suffolk County chapter of Vietnam vets.
Yep. Oh,
That
Rich.
is an unbelievable melting pot of
Yep.
guys.
Oh, there's no doubt
different
about it.
races, ethnic groups.
Yep.
Guys from all over.
Yep.
And they had those green jackets on.
Yeah.
And they're all brothers, you know, like
Right. And they took me into and Mel because we're not Vietnam eras. But it's funny. I'll be at the Stony Brook Nursing Home, and they're there. They know me, and I don't care. I just stick with them.
Sure.
That's it. A lot of other guys don't come.
Yeah, they're good guys. You want to
Yeah.
be able to work with them.
Right. And the thing is, these guys, again, just like at Stony Brook Nursing Home, they're looking for people like us to come there, children to see them. Their families, a lot of them abandoned them.
Sure. It's the thing with the history.
Yeah. You got to get it there.
You got to get it there. And it doesn't matter if the person's 90 years old or 9 years old.
It's right? Again, just like that, go back to it, Irving Robert Miller. Every day he comes back to me and sends me new stuff. And imagine this, like I said, at the age of 60, he was flying planes.
Sure.
And I did this. I just decided to send pictures of my family to him. And he said, I love them. And then what he said is, every time I send him something about the Holocaust, he cries for a reason. I understood why.
Wow.
It's like I did as I sent stuff from here to him directly.
Very powerful.
And he said to me, powerful. It's like I said, I sent him about these, Kurt, his name was, who was the French Resistance. I sent him about Debbie's parents, which was him, Kurt. And like he said, he cried. And then I met others that it's like, it's just unbearable.
Sure.
Just looking. I can't,
all
I
right,
lose my thought.
We're going to come back for a third episode, maybe a couple of minutes. I wanted to share a story with Gary about something I'd seen as a young man. It's something that I'm sure he'll very much identify with, being here on Long Island, being a history man, being in the service, and always giving his all. Come back for a third episode here on the Fog of War and Humanity, here on hmTv.